book and understanding to survive and analyze your problems without being blind.
Talking to my carcass.
All right, everybody, welcome to Ascend Your Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest for you today. You know that we like to keep it diverse on the podcast. We have special guest Anna Swenson, dear friend, professional ballerina. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, and we have Ryan too, but who cares about him?
Yeah. I'm just here to listen today.
So today, if you guys could guess it, Ryan will be learning about a little bit about ballet today. So Ryan's getting cultured this year. He's gone from social Catholic teaching to ballet. I mean, look at this man. He's getting cultured.
Yeah, it's easy to learn about these subjects when you don't know shit. So, plenty to learn.
True. How are you doing, Anna?
Doing okay. This is probably not the greatest time to introduce someone to ballet, considering that there's no live performances happening and the ballet world is pretty non-existent right now. So it's going to be interesting talking about something that doesn't really exist currently in the year 2020.
Oh, it's okay. We've been talking about election fraud. That doesn't exist either.
So it's just along the same line of thought. Great. Going to have some great conversation then.
Well, I think that's why we wanted to do this, is just because you hear about the airline industry, you hear about Hollywood, but one of the things that you don't really hear about is how much the dance community, not just ballet, but ballet, a lot of the dance community has been affected. So I guess if we could start, Anna, just with give an introduction about yourself, tell the listeners who you are, where you are, and then talk about what ballet is a little bit and, what it means to you and stuff like that.
Of course. So my name is Anna Swenson. I've been dancing with American Midwest Ballet for the past going on 8 seasons. I first started here with Ballet Nebraska when I was 20 years old. Then they changed their name to American Midwest Ballet to be more of a regional ballet rather than state-based. During this time, usually we'd be traveling and touring across the Midwest and then also into Texas and to Florida. But because of COVID, our 2020 and 2021 season has been canceled until further notice. So currently, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, taking classes online. So nothing really close to dancing, performing, anything that has to do related to ballet currently, other than taking Zoom ballet classes, which fortunately our company is being proactive in that sense, where they're keeping their dancers in some type of payroll, being able to take class every day. And we are getting paid to do that. But other than that, nothing is being performed live, obviously, for safety and health reasons. We are doing a segment called Going Solo, which I was a part of. And every week we have, or every other week, we have a live video on our channel on social media that promotes that going solo, that the artistic director decided that she wanted to do something for the dancers, have some project that we could still be a part of the community and still reach out to the donors and the people who love the arts, to show that we're still here, we're still trying to be artists, we're still trying to create things, but it's just a little different than what is typical. My piece that I did was called, why am I forgetting it now?
You sound like Ryan.
I know. Wait, hold on. Order in the Chaos. Thank you. Okay, so the segment that I did was called Order in the Chaos by Seneca Montgomery, who was a longtime friend that I grew up with. in Spokane, Washington. We trained together at the same studio, and we kind of lost track of each other over the years. And then because of COVID, we were in Spokane, Washington at the exact same time. And unbeknownst to both of us, just happened to work out that we wanted to do something that kind of reflected how we both felt. And that's the great thing about dancing, is that it doesn't have to have constructs. Like, there's no reason to not get together or not to dance, because that's the way we express ourselves as artists, is that we use movement, and we use the music to say words that we're not saying out loud. And so a lot of it's interpretation by the audience, but also it's just in a form of it's a way to express ourselves as artists, because right now we don't have any other outlets. And not performing is definitely a part of me that I miss. I miss performing, I miss touring, I miss the people that are my family here in Omaha, Nebraska, because I don't have family that's related here in the Midwest. So my family really is American Midwest Ballet, and not having them and being with them right now because of health concerns and because of restrictions definitely hurts. It's makes you very dejected as an artist. You a lot of melancholy going on during these cold winter times.
I don't feel that. It's hot as shit here still.
Well, damn it. It's snowing. I was taking class this morning on Zoom with one of our teachers, and she was like, "Oh, look, it's snowing. Oh, it's snowing more." And I'm like, "Damn it. I like snow, but it's just not the same, because it doesn't feel like Christmas. We're not doing the Nutcracker. We're not together touring and having, a ton of like memories. It's not the same to me. It doesn't feel like it should be Christmas yet without the Nutcracker."
Ryan can't relate, unfortunately.
I kind of can. When I see snow, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to take my car out.
Right?
I'm never happy to see snow.
I don't mind it if it's like there's reason for it, right? So you can enjoy it and see the Christmas lights reflect off the snow, but this doesn't feel like Christmas right now to me. I don't really get to be around people. I'm just with my cat group for the majority of the time. So it just feels, even though it should be around that time where you're celebrating and being with family, I don't get to do that.
Yeah. And, with Corona and stuff, it's, people aren't having these large family gatherings, and it's after as you were saying, such a long year already. To add that to it, it just makes it all tougher,
It really does. It just kind of just makes the season less jolly, for sure. Oh, that's a cute cat. Kind of scary.
So before we go, well, two things to the listeners out there. Ryan Henry is going to learn about the Nutcracker. And that's just an exciting episode in itself. But the second thing is, and I can attest to this, not in my short professional ballet career. Thank you, everybody. Is I think ballet in this era, at least in the States, right, is probably the most underappreciated form of dance. Maybe not so much in Europe and Asia. But in a weird way, in the States, it's gone very, I think, underappreciated. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. And maybe you disagree with that. But I guess the question I wanted to ask is, when it comes to ballet and its beauty and how hard it is, I think that's the thing, right, is that you guys make it look easy, which is the point. What is something that people really don't appreciate about it, like, I don't know, I find it now, like, everybody's twerking and stuff. We've gotten away from the beauty and the really beauty from ballet, and I wasn't introduced to it until I met you, to be honest, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like,
I think a lot of people don't realize how arduous the ballet is on the body, and like, you can't just pick it up. You can't just kind of jump into doing the same thing that you did, 6 months ago. Like while we were in rehearsal in March, we were getting ready to do a show, and we were back in the swing of full-time class and rehearsals, and we were finishing up the piece that we were working on called Swing, Swing, Swing. And you can't just jump back into that without having class and having rehearsal before, like, at least 3 weeks at least to get back in shape, because you are a professional athlete and you do have to make sure that you're taking care of your body, and you have to get back into the shape that you were previously in. And it's not something that's at all easy. And as a dancer, especially as a professional athlete, you're not supposed to take time off. You don't really take months off. Like, you'll maybe take a week here and there. You don't take that much time off. You don't take months off. You have to stay in shape. And that's why, as a dancer, you take class every day. You have an hour and a half of class every day to begin your day, just because you have to warm up your body, warm up your joints, so you don't, first of all, sprain any muscles. You don't get any stress fractures. You don't tweak any joints. It's really important to stay in as best shape as you can, so that way when you do start performing at a high caliber, you're able to keep up with the ongoing brutal reality for your body. Because Nutcracker is like that. You have to be in shape. You can't just jump into it. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that we spend weeks on maybe one performance. For the Nutcracker, we have multiple performances, and we do multiple school shows, and we do multiple like community outreach things that we work with the school. So like a lot of the schools and kids that we'd be talking to about it this year, they're missing out on that too, that experience, the first time seeing the Nutcracker as well.
Right.
So this isn't something that is just affecting me. This is affecting like the community as well, here in Omaha, Nebraska. And a lot of kids get inspired to dance because, like myself, the reason why I even started dancing was because I saw the Nutcracker. That was something to me that I was like, I want to do that. I want to be on stage, and this is with these beautiful costumes, this beautiful music. The whole experience was, as a 6-year-old, amazing. Like, I did not realize that you could do that for a career. I've never seen anything like that. I didn't know that you could do that and be paid to do that. So we're missing out on a lot of opportunity to reach children and kids that might want to do this and for their life and pursue this.
I've been to your shows, and man, those performances are always like, those kids, man, they love it.
They go
up to you. They're like, you're like their hero,
It's really fun to take pictures with them and to sign posters. And I've had parents reach out that I teach and say like they bought my point shoes that I signed, or the poster
Damn, okay.
I was on I'm on the wall. And it's like one of those things that you work so hard to attain and to be a part of this lifestyle and just this career path. It's not easy. It's definitely not something that I recommend if you want, to make money quickly. If you are okay with constantly, first of all, berating yourself, because that's, correction after correction, you're always just trying to attain perfection. Perfection's an unrealistic conception. It's all about, the observer and who you're dancing. It's something that when you get to see it inspire someone else, or if you get to perform and it actually changes someo's perception of the art and of ballet, and they feel like they can do it, that to me is worth it. All the shitty things that have happened, it's worth it. It makes it worth it.
So you touched on it a lot, obviously, but and especially at the beginning. And first of all, I feel like you didn't talk about how much time you guys spend, the long hours you guys spend rehearsing. You guys do crazy hours for that, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you've been a
but
part of the Nutcracker, so you've seen firsthand how many rehearsals we have before the actual shows.
yeah, it's insane. Yeah, no, definitely. So I guess you touched on it already. Can you put in more concrete terms, just like how has the professional ballet world been affected? Like you've talked about a little bit here and there, but obviously you guys aren't dancing anymore. But and then as you're saying, like the opportunity, but also the community, all those kinds of things. Can you just kind of sum it up? And do you see, like, will ballet companies be able to bounce back from this because, or the dance community going to be able to bounce back, do you think? Or is it just going to be kind of like everybody just maybe you'll try to make it happen, but like for the smaller communities like Omaha, I can imagine that the dance community will have a much harder time bouncing back,
That's a hard question to ask because every company has taken different measures in trying to mitigate the damage
Yeah.
because of COVID. Honestly, just because of the current administration and how capricious the leadership was in dealing with steps to take in order to stay, first of all, safe, what to do in order to not have or to get COVID-19, that wasn't clear. So for many weeks, we were kind of on this ledge of, do we keep going? Do we take measures into our own hands? Do we try to space ourselves out? Like, we didn't really know what was going on. We didn't know if we were going to get paid the rest of our season. So I remember very clearly being in Whole Foods line, getting like smoothie stuff and getting an email from my director saying the season has officially been canceled. And that morning we had just finished a section for Swing, 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 and we hadn't actually run it all the way through. And the ballet master was saying, we'll just run it in tomorrow. Don't worry about it. We'll run it tomorrow. And in my brain, I was just like, it just exploded. I was like, there's no tomorrow. Like, nothing is known now. Like, I don't have a life anymore to rely on. There was nothing that I knew that was going to be certain, and everything was just up in the air. And as a 27-year-old, that's a really scary place to be when you don't know what is next. For me personally, I want to retire at some point and I want to try something else, but I don't want to end that on terms because of COVID. Like, I want to have a retirement where I can have a retirement show and have a year to say bye to the things that I have grown to love and the people that I've grown to love. So personally, that's just been a huge struggle because everything is so unpredictable. Luckily, we do have vaccines, but that doesn't mean that we're going to get it in time before the start of our 21, our season 12, 2021,
Right.
Still up in the air. The even scarier part is that we haven't been told what we're going to be doing this spring. We have no idea yet. So my last class is going to be tomorrow of like, I know exactly where my company stands, but by tomorrow, that is, again, once up in the air. I have no idea. We haven't been told anything. So that sense of self-knowing is gone. It's again, just trying to make the best of a situation that you have no clue how it's going to turn out. So that's why I'm currently going to school, because that is something that I can have control over and can get done in the meantime. I think for the majority of dancers, we've had some dancers retire because they were on the, going back and forth, wanting to start a family, not knowing what's going to happen, they've just decided to take that and run with it. You know, like, I'm going to start a new life now. Luckily, no one has left the company just because they didn't know what was going to happen with COVID. For the majority of the dancers did stay. We had a couple dancers leave to another company, but other than that, the majority of dancers did stay in Omaha, Nebraska. But like, we all came here to dance. That's the thing. Like, we're all here to be a part of American Midwest Ballet, and who knows how long that's gonna last. You know, if we have another year where we're not able to perform, people are gonna want to move on and do other things with their lives. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
So,
man,
it has affected also the incoming generation of dancers who just graduated from high school, who want to start their professional careers. That, it's such a huge risk. You know, I mean, when you audition in what is called commonly called as cattle calls, because there's just like hundreds of dancers going for, you know, a couple spots within a company. But none of those happened. No auditions happened after mid-March. And that's typically January, February, March. April is when we have auditions. All of that was canceled for the majority of companies. So those wanting to even get a shot or even put, you know, their foot in the door was slammed. It was gone. There was no chance for them to even start a career.
Which also means that if dancers do leave and decide to move on, the company doesn't have people to replace them either.
There's hopefully going to be a Zoom audition. I mean, obviously things are going to have to be a lot different. They're not going to be able to expect, you know, someone to have a full studio space for themselves. Not everyone has that luxury to go to a studio right now. A lot of people don't have that. So I don't know how that's going to look when it comes to auditions, but there's going to have to be some leniency, definitely. Just because we don't have that accommodation. Like, a lot of people just don't have those accommodations. It's just not viable. But there are going to be auditions. I know a lot of companies canceled their season. American Ballet Theater, Pennsylvania Ballet, New York City Ballet, just to name a few, Joffrey, they all canceled their season, and I don't know what auditions is going to look for them. So we'll see. We'll have to just wait and see, kind of let it play out. I'm sure there's going to be something, though.
People are trying to figure it out, I suppose.
Been doing that for 9 months.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be done by Easter.
You want to see who's doing this interview with me?
Yes, please. Let us see.
Long time no see, Groot.
Yeah. When you saw him, Ryan, he was a baby.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me do this. Switch it. There you go. He's really cute. He's just hanging out.
He's also a mean fucking cat.
I mean, he's a little sassy, but he has a personality. You can't say he doesn't. Can't deny that.
Maybe we can pivot to something a little bit different. First of all, I want to give a shout out to your grandma. I love you.
I love that. Grandma loves you.
Hi, Grandma. Come visit me in Jordan, please. I got you. I'll cook for you and everything. I got you. Anyway.
Jim, we're trying to get you back, not send more people to you.
I know, we're in lockdown today. I've gotten so lazy today, just not doing anything. So there is, I think, if I can be honest, I think there's the pathway for ballet, I think, is not because it is a hard road. But for some of the younger kids out there who are interested in ballet and want to pursue ballet as a career, career, would you have any advice for those kids, or teenagers or young adults who, if anybody out there's listening, do you have any advice? Because, eventually the pandemic will end, but you do got some 13, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, who look up to dancers like yourself, seeing it firsthand, when you're a snow queen, stuff like that. Do you have any advice to give to the young people out there on if they are interested, chasing ballet as a dream, like someone that like yourself who started, man, I remember when you first joined the company, you were making nothing, you were grinding every day, every weekend, and then it was tough. So do you have any advice for the kids out there?
I think
Or young
one
people?
thing that has really come to fruition in terms of goodness out of COVID is that social media around ballet and taking class, you have a lot more ability to connect across the world with different dancers and different companies that before was not possible. So there's a lot of outlets through social media that you can look to for inspiration. You can take class with Paris Opera, like you can take class with ABT, like you can do so many things. And there's a lot of principal dancers that have their own social media that you can reach out to them as well, which was not before COVID, was not something that was plausible, not something that was available. So I think just being resourceful, being diligent, still doing all the things that before COVID, all your exercises, all the things that maybe were a lot easier, just keeping with it. Don't give up. It's not the end. It's just the beginning. This is just a new way to teach yourself how to be dedicated and to continue to work hard when it's really easy to give up. Because in the dance world, you're going to have a lot of people say no to you. A lot of people say you're not good enough. A lot of people say that there's better dancers, just not the right time for you. And you're going to have a lot of shut doors. But the one opportunity that you do get and the chance that you do get, you gotta give it your all. And you never know what that's going to be. So just keep going for it. It's my advice.
Take that advice,
where you're supposed to be eventually. And you know what? It's never gonna be forever. So you just gotta enjoy it while it's there.
And that's great advice to give, not just for dancers, but anybody who's really struggling out there at the moment. And when this podcast one day goes big, can Ryan and I attend class with you?
Ballet class?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll teach.
Perfect.
What kind of prep do I need for that? I haven't even done yoga.
I feel like there's like a YouTube channel that has some like 4 guys take ballet class for the first time with like Misty Copeland or something. I don't know exactly, but it's pretty funny. I feel like we would get you like the full, like you'd get a dance belt, you'd get the tights, you get the leotard, the shoes. Like we would do it all out. We would not hesitate to put you in
this would be
a dance
fun.
belt.
It'd
be good.
And that's a perfect segue, because I don't think I've told you the story, Ryan, but when Anna was dancing, there was like in January when they're coming, like when they have a little bit of a break from after the Nutcracker, Anna says, come to class, like there'll be other people there, like other boyfriends, other whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm in, me, like I'm always down to try whatever. I get there, no one else showed up. I partook in a professional ballet class, and I tried, and I got some compliments. I got some compliments out there.
Yeah.
And that's when the director cast me in the Nutcracker.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's
not a lie.
That is so a lie. I said that you were a viable body to be able to stand in.
No.
Okay.
Your director, Erica Overturf. She was like, we could use you. and I was like, I'm in.
Interesting.
Because
I think
she saw the potential.
I feel like your version is a little blurred. I think you're.
Was
Are
I?
you on something right now?
Was I? Or was I not in the Nutcracker? As a dancer.
How you got to be in the Nutcracker was I volunteered you because they needed another
Someone with nuts.
parent. They needed another guest. And I said, "Hey, I'm dating someone. He loves anything that has to do with performing. Be a good option." And Erica said, "Hey, okay, let's do this." And actually, since then, we've actually had a lot of boyfriends or husbands participate in the Nutcracker, and it's been really fun.
I was one of the pioneers of that.
I will say that
I'm just
for
kidding.
the boyfriend status, yes, but for like having stand-ins, that's not new. That's theater.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Julian,
So
you're
we
not
can
special.
confirm.
But
I know.
you remember that story of you writing to see me perform in the black box?
I have not told any. Wait.
You've
Good
never told
content.
anyone? Ryan, you have to hear this story.
Let's
Oh,
hear
no.
it.
Okay.
Oh no.
Sounds like Julian doesn't want me
first
to
of all,
hear it.
Okay, so we had started dating probably like within that year. That was like our first year dating.
So I was 8. What? We were. How old were we? 19.
I was 21 and you were 20.
Yeah. Right.
And Julian obviously did not have a car. Right? We all know this. He doesn't have
Did
a
he
car.
have a cell phone yet?
He didn't even have stuff. He was just very, he didn't have anything, basically. So skip now to the fact that I'm performing. We have a show in what we call the Black Box, and Julian was like, "Yeah, I'll be there. I'll come watch." Lo and behold, he rides a little kid's bike. It's like 20 miles.
That doesn't surprise me.
From downtown Omaha out to like 120th.
That was a long bike ride. I ain't gonna lie.
And he shows up like midway through the show.
No. It was the beginning.
Anyways.
Midway through the beginning.
Yeah.
There's he goes through the wrong door and there's some kids that are part of the school where we were performing at. He's like trying to open the door. The door is obviously locked. These kids see him and they freak out. They're like, there's someone outside. There's just this scary big guy. He's like trying to break into the studios, and like tells the director this. That's my boyfriend, by the way. Like they're just like, I'm performing too. Like this is me out like during a performance. All this is happening. Eventually he figures out that the entrance is around the corner. And comes and watches like the end of the show. My director comes up to me and she's like, "I cannot believe, you won't believe this, but like someone was trying to break into the studio while you guys were performing. We're looking into it. If you guys hear anything," also the ballet master, who was the owner of the studio, he was like, "Yeah, you guys just keep on the lookout. Just make sure that we're like locking the door every night. This is just a really scary time." And they start describing what this guy looks like. Like, and I start to turn bright red, and I was like, I think that's my boyfriend. And I don't think he was trying to break in. He was actually just trying to see the show. And you're like, "But he had a bike. He rode a bike there." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's him." That's him. So
I felt
for
so
a really long
stupid.
time, I was given a really hard time about that.
Felt so
by
stupid.
both the people that I call my boss.
I felt so dumb.
Yeah.
And then I had to ride my bike all the way back.
Yep, and I do remember that. I said that you could. I think someone was gonna give you a ride. Chloe offered to take you back, but you were so embarrassed. You decided just to ride your bike back.
No, I gotta play play it off like a fool.
Oh, poor Julian.
Yeah. Too
Me
stubborn.
and Ryan are both prideful people. I'll ride that. I'm riding that 20
I'm not
miles
riding my
back.
bike 20
Yeah.
miles to someone offers a ride. That's where me and you are different, Julian.
Yeah, it was quite a story. But that's funny. Good times. Good times.
All right.
Julian, you've done that over here for something too, haven't you?
He did that for his photos, for his senior photos.
Right.
Yeah,
How far of a
that's
bike ride
another
was
good one.
that?
To Schaumburg.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and like you can see in the photos that the last photo they took, I took it with Sheila's bike. I rode Sheila's bike, and my I didn't have pants, so I took it in basketball shorts and a shirt inside.
Oh my God.
So I was like, if I could get there, I was running late to this performance. I'm like, this is way farther than I thought. And by the way, I didn't have a phone, so I didn't have directions. This was all in memory. So I'm like, fuck, I like this girl, and I'm about to be late. So I'm just like, oh fuck, I'm just trying any door. I don't know. So yeah, I felt really dumb. So I'm like, yeah, I just gotta look cool and play it off. Anyway, enough about that. This is about Anna, not about me. Okay. Last question, Anna, because I want to be conscientious of your time, and I know, Ryan, you got to drive someone to the airport. This question goes more for you, Ryan.
Ooh.
Please
A
tell.
hot seat.
Please tell the
Gonna be
professional ballet. Yes. Please tell the professional ballerina what the Nutcracker is about.
About I don't know what kind of soldier it is. Cracking nuts. In a Christmas spirit fashion. I don't know.
What is a Nutcracker?
It's a weird Christmas guy.
That's pretty close.
It looks like a soldier. And I think it's Santa Claus 2 or 3. They're the bad guys. That's about all I know.
Pretty close. Pretty good.
Anna, can you give an explanation, but like the one you gave earlier?
No.
I believe you said it's basically if a girl took shrooms.
No, I did not say that.
Oh wait, that was Ryan. You're right. Ryan, that was what you said.
I don't know the Nutcracker. You said it was kind of like Alice in Wonderland, but like Christmassy, right? Something like that.
I mean, so the Nutcracker is a family having a Christmas party, and they have all these guests coming over, and they have the Godfather, who is a little off his rocker. He brings 2 presents, one for Clara and one for Fritz, Clara's brother. And Fritz gets just like this, sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's a trumpet. It just depends on what Nutcracker you see. And he is like, this is stupid. And so looks at Clara's present, and Clara gets this beautiful doll that her godfather made for her, and it's the Nutcracker. And so the Nutcracker is actually a doll that cracks nuts. And so Clara is in love with this doll, this beautiful doll, and is playing with it. And then Fritz comes and tries to steal it from her during the party. But the Nutcracker, it's pretty fragile, like the mechanics of a Nutcracker. And so he tries to pull it away from her. And as he does that, he breaks the jaw off of the Nutcracker, or also the head sometimes off the Nutcracker. And she's devastated, cries. But the Godfather says, wait, I can fix this, and fixes it. Everyone's happy. And as everyone's leaving the party, Claire leaves her doll downstairs and remembers that she left it downstairs. And so she decides to go downstairs, grabs her doll, and falls asleep. And then as she falls asleep, she has this crazy dream. And that's where I was like, okay, this is like a little weird, because like Alice in Wonderland, everything comes to life in terms of like everything becomes bigger than in what it is in reality. And so the Rat King or Queen tries to kill the Nutcracker in Claire's dream. Like, this is just a crazy dream that's happening, trying to kill Clara, all these things, and the Nutcracker ends up coming to life and saving her. So hence why I was like, it's a little weird if you've never seen the Nutcracker before and I'm describing it to you for the first time.
When was this written?
Long time ago. So,
good thing we got TVs now, huh?
anyway, so that's like the first act. And then
Yeah, that's just the first act.
Oh
yeah.
boy.
But before the act ends, it's called the snow scene, and I think it's the most beautiful piece of music within the whole score of the Nutcracker. Anyways,
You've probably heard this, right? The score.
Yeah, it's pretty popular. Other than, I would say, the Sugar Plum Fairy, I would say it's probably up
What
there.
a great name, Sugar Plum Fairy. Am I alone in that? It's a great name, Sugar Plum Fairy.
I don't know.
I'm gonna start calling you.
You love it that much. You probably
Sugar Plum
should. Yeah.
Fairy.
I love the Sugar Plum Fairy outfit.
Welcome back to the Senior Podcast. Here you got Ryan and the Sugar Plum Fairy, Julian.
So Clara ends up saving the Nutcracker by like hitting the Rat King or Queen with her shoe. And to say thank you, the Nutcracker takes her on this magical land, and that's what like the snow scene is for, is to like take her through to what's called Land of the Dreams or the Land of the Sweets. And then you have the second act where it's all the divertisements of different countries to come say thank you to Clara for saving the Nutcracker. So it's a pretty like tradition. It is a very traditional ballet, but there's different versions of it. So with Ballet Vero Beach, we did it based on the different there are different animals within the ecosystem in Ballet Vero Beach. So I was a sandpiper, and there's tortoises, and there's crabs, and all these other things. So like different ballets, different companies do different interpretations. But it's really fun. The story is pretty similar though.
The most my mom has ever been proud of me when I was in the Nutcracker.
Yeah. She had a lot of fun coming. That was really special for her to come with my parents too. It was fun.
You know, you kind of see sometimes you see it in the movies, but when you see it in person, like it's just so different because you're really immersed. Like there's just, whether it's the dancing, the costumes, the music, especially if there's an orchestra. I mean, it is like, I wish I had gone to more shit like that when I was younger, because it really is super cool. I can only imagine being like a teenager or younger and watching that, let alone an adult. It is really, really, really cool and a lot of fun, too, for some of the younger kids. I had a lot of fun. I had so much fun.
I'll have to give it a shot then.
Oh, for real, dude, for real.
It's really fun getting dressed up, like going to dinner and then going to the ballet and then maybe like going to drinks afterwards. Like you can make a whole night of it, and it's a really fun experience to share with people.
One last question.
I
You got time?
Yeah. Good. Very good.
That face said no. I'm done. We can be done.
No. Go for it. I don't have to work tonight. We're fine.
What is, when it comes to ballet, what is like coolest things that you not like coolest little thing? Like, for example, like the coolest little thing I saw while you guys were performing was the costume changes. Like how you guys go from one costume to another. You have like 5 seconds. I was like, I can't even put my socks on in 5 seconds, let alone an entire outfit. Do you have something like that where you're like a little thing, not like obviously like performing, but like a kind of like a little thing? You're like, oh, that's kind of really cool, or I really secretly love this.
I think if you were to watch everything that's backstage, you'd be surprised like how crazy it is. I think that's kind of fun because we're running back and forth from stage right to stage left. A cool little thing is that everyone has their own traditions that they do before shows. So one of the dancers, she has a grilled cheese sandwich before every show.
I feel like that's a bad thing.
It's a tradition that she's done. Sometimes, like for me, when I was a kid, after every recital, my family would go out for ice cream at Zips. So I always, wanted to go out afterwards and maybe not necessarily get ice cream, but like, do something to celebrate the moment. For me, that was always something that I thought was special. I also called my dad before every show, just to be like, hey, I'm about to go on, or like just getting ready. That was something that I did before every show. So yeah, we all have our own little things. Some people have a ritual with their makeup, a certain way that they put on their makeup, or they have a playlist that we have for the dressing room. I think that's kind of special because you look forward to those moments a lot. Just spending time with people.
Yeah, the camaraderie.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, a lot of camaraderie happening.
Well, I know you got more important stuff to do than stick with me and Ryan, so we really appreciate you are perfection, baby.
Thanks.
We want to really thank you for taking the time to come on the podcast and talk about ballet and what you're going through. We hope that that you try to stay positive and hope that things turn around slowly and maybe things will start ramping back up once this vaccine comes out and you guys will have a somewhat of a season left or something. Inshallah, as they say here, if God wills.
Well, thank you for having me, and I have had a blast talking to you guys. Pretty funny.
Send it to your grandma. Hi, grandma.
You know she's listening.
I'm not.
You know she's listening.
That must be her. Shout out Washington, our #1 state.
I love you, Grandma. I miss you. I'll see you at Christmas, hopefully, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know yet.
Well, thanks, Anna. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks, Julian. Thanks, Ryan, for having me. I'll see you guys or talk to you guys later. Just have a safe and healthy rest of the season.
You too. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
This is a public service announcement for all social media scientists. Your thoughts on the pandemic have been incredibly helpful, and honestly, I wouldn't have survived this long without your opinions on the situation. Thank you for your support and cooperation. Please follow all the necessary guidelines. Go fuck yourself.
Royal Raven Music.
Tell me what happened to society, glorifying memes and dumb notoriety, social media piety, bask in negativity righteously.